Hey y'all, it's the Jed, and I am done working for the day, and I'm going to get out of this office and I'm going to go down to West Valley Cycle Sales and I'm going to demo ride a bike for y'all. This time it's going to be an R9T, but not just any R9T. It's going to be the 40 years GS edition. And to be honest with you, other than knowing that's a black and yellow motorcycle, I don't know anything about it. But we're going to find out a lot about it. So let's get out of here, let's get down there, and let's get on the bike. So the audio that I recorded on this walk around was horrible. Terrible wind noise and an old lady pushing a rattling shopping cart down the sidewalk right as I started. So briefly, I'm going to just spare you that and give you some voiceover. Here is the BMW R9T Urban GS 40 Years GS Edition. Up front, you've got a 19-inch laced rim. And I must have been really excited about these valve covers because I lingered on them for quite a while. But they are really cool option 719 or 719 valve covers. They're black and machined aluminum. They're standard on this edition, and they are an extra on the other versions of the R9T. These are standard too. It's the Akrapovic, if that's how you pronounce it, pipes. And you know, they're slung higher on this version of the bike than they are on some of the others. Up front, that's an adaptive headlight. It's actually part of a select package on this particular bike. It's a $1,000 package. And along with that headlight, you get dynamic engine brake control, you get dynamic traction control, you get heated grips, cruise control, and ride modes pro. This bike comes in at the crank at 109 horsepower with 85 pound-feet of torque. Really handsome bike in this black and yellow paint scheme, I have to say. Okay, so I'm on and I'm flat footing with my 30-inch inseam. It is a nice sprung ride, and this is kind of cool. It's got an old school key, which I have not had in a while on a BMW. This one has 8 miles on it. I am in neutral and I'm starting it up. Familiar shake to the right on that BMW Boxer. Nice little growl to the engine. I mentioned ride modes. Here's the mode button, and there's a little LED display on the speedometer. So I'm in road mode. My options appear to be road, dirt, and rain. So let's get her back in road. There's a menu button here. I can scroll through what looks like a trip meter, temperature. Not sure what that one is. There's a clock. There's setup. I'm going to get back to just odometer. Nice big round mirrors. Appear to be in good shape. Posture, I'm a little leaning forward, I guess. Not too bad. Probably very upright compared to what sport bike riders are used to. Click into first was buttery smooth, and away we go. So coming off an R1250GS, this feels tiny and light and very flickable. Brakes feel great. Why wouldn't they? They're brand new. Dual front disc brakes. And suspension is very comfortable. Let me talk a little bit about the R9T in case you're unfamiliar with this model. It really, my understanding is it was an unintentional BMW model. It came out in 2014, the first one, as a classic. I believe it was something that the engineers built, not necessarily to become part of the model lineup, but it was really well received. BMW includes it in their heritage models. You know, as you probably know, the Boxer engine has evolved into the R1250, which is a liquid cooled, and now the R18 in the in those big touring bikes. But this is the remaining bike in the lineup that still has an air-cooled R1200 engine. I will say it is quite responsive. It's the torque feels like it's coming in nice and quick, so it's very peppy off the line. Anyway, back to the model itself. There are now several variants of the R9T, this Urban GS being one of them, but there's also what they call the Pure, which is a stripped down version of the bike intended to be customized. There's the Classic, which has, it's the only one that has inverted forks, built to handle perhaps a bit better. There's a Scrambler that's not entirely dissimilar to this Urban GS, built perhaps to be taken off-road a little bit. And there's this Urban GS. Now, in prior years, there was a racer that had a really cool sort of racing cowl and was a really stretched out posture. My understanding was it was not particularly popular. It's no longer in the lineup, but they were really cool to look at. I never rode one. I have ridden the Classic and I've ridden the Pure. Of the three, this suspension is thus far my favorite. It's just there's a bit more travel, so it's a little more forgiving, but it feels like it is it's doing a good job controlling the bike. It's fun to be on a bike that feels this nimble. After being on the GS, you forget how big the GS is until you get on something like this. By the way, without fuel, this thing comes in under 500 pounds. I think it's like 492 or 494. I'll try to remember to Chiron that. So it's not a small, light bike, but it's not a beast either. I'm just gonna take it up here to the 101 freeway, and we'll get on for a couple of exits. I'm not gonna hot ride this engine because it's in its break-in period, and I want to be respectful to West Valley Cycle Sales, who were kind enough to let me take it out. I'll remind you too, this is not a review of this bike. It's merely a demo, and I'm just going to offer you my seat of the pants impression of it. The overwhelming impression I have is it's a really pretty bike. I didn't pay much attention to this 40 years color scheme. It was available on other models as well. I know there's a version of it on the R1250GS. Actually, a friend of mine has that one. But now that I've had a chance to eyeball it and drool over it a little bit, I do really like it. You know, I would not buy this bike intending to do a bunch of off-roading on it. It's a bit heavy for that. But you could, you know, take it on some dirt roads if you wanted to. I would buy this bike intending to bebop around town on it. You know, this is really interesting. I'm at highway speed here. I'm at 60, and I'm not going to go any faster than that. But I'm really surprised at the wind management. That, you know, this cowl is tiny, but I am not getting a whole bunch of wind on my helmet. Maybe it's just a particularly calm day, but I would expect to be getting a lot of buffeting, and I'm really not. I'm surprised. Very comfortable bike. If it were mine, I would maybe not enjoy these bars, only because I'm leaned over to a degree, and just because of my age and my back, I prefer a little more upright, but take that with a grain of salt. I'm an old dude, and I'm out of shape. Okay, so I think my second overwhelming impression is it's a really responsive bike. I'm surprised. It's very quick down low, which is really nice for a bike that you might be going stoplight to stoplight in. But it's not uncomfortably torquey, so I'm not getting a ton of snap in a bad way, and I'm not getting a ton of engine braking from compression in a bad way. It's a very comfortable bike at these speeds and in these conditions. It's exactly what you would want out of a bike like this. Yeah, I'm really digging how it handles and just what it feels like. It's hard for me to compare this bike to its competitors in this scrambler space. I have not been on Ducati's version nor on Triumph's version, so I can't say this is a better or worse ride than those. I can say aesthetically I prefer it. I think I don't know, there's something to me, and not to offend anybody, that my eye takes that Ducati Scrambler in as, I don't know, a little cheapy looking. Cheapy's the wrong word. I don't know. I just think the fit and finish of this bike, to my eye, is better. And by the way, I've not ridden one of those, but I have been, I've sat on one more than once at bike shows and in Ducati dealerships, so I've gotten a good look at them. And then with the Triumph version, that's a hugely popular bike. There's nothing wrong with it at all. It's a good looking bike. I just prefer the look of the Boxer in this bike. I think Heritage is exactly the right moniker. Not moniker. I think Heritage is the right descriptor of this look. And there's a, I don't know, there's a funky sort of retro cool look going on that, of course, I'm ill-equipped to describe, but but I know it when I see it, and I see it here, and I like it. Little things, transmission feels really smooth, smoother than my R1250GS actually. Speedo is very simple, very clean, very easy to read when it's not blocked by my GoPro. Fuel capacity is under 5 gallons. I think, I'll try to Chiron the exact number, but I think it's like 4.8 something gallons, which is probably the right size for this bike. You wouldn't want a tour necessarily on this, so you're not going to be out somewhere stranded between 5 gallons of riding. Those option 719 black machined heads or valve covers are really, really nice looking on this bike. I like the gold rims on this as well. Nice to have these laced wheels. I will also try to Chiron whether these are tubeless or not. I didn't pay attention to whether these are cross spokes. Let me see when we stop if I can tell. They are cross spokes, so these are tubeless rims. That's a nice touch. I guess third impression is I'm digging the suspension. You know, I realize I rarely get on a BMW for a demo and have a whole host of negatives to say, and that may make me appear a BMW fanboy, and I guess that's true. By the way, look at me splitting lanes on this. It is perfectly equipped for that. I guess that's true. I am a BMW fanboy, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I think they make really well designed bikes with great fit and finish. I think they look great, and I think they perform really well, and they just have never let me down. And so yes, I have a bias toward BMW motorcycles, and I am not ashamed to admit it. And that's okay. There's a steering stabilizer of some sort up there, I'm noticing. I think that's about it for this bike. I like it. I like it. The Jed says that the R9T Urban GS is a worthy bike. The Jed says that this 40 years GS package is a good looking package, and if you're in the market for a scrambler, the Jed says you should give this one a look. If you are in Southern California, this bike is available at West Valley Cycle Sales on Saticoy in the valley. Give Ruth a call there. Let her know the Jed sent you, and she will treat you right. I know. I am not in any way sponsored or paid by Ruth or West Valley Cycle Sales, but I am very appreciative that they allow me to take these bikes out and demo them for you. And I bought my R1250GS there. That is it for today. If you are enjoying this channel, enjoying this content, or even if you're not and you feel like doing me a solid, please hit that like button. And if you have not already subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, and I will try to entertain you. I hope you are having a great day wherever you are and whatever you're doing, and I hope you're doing it on a bike. See you next time. Thank you.